script text, inshallah, and I will not be sharing the screen. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Alright, inshallah, we are doing Surah Ash-Shu'ara, and we are going to be completing the surah. We are going to be picking up from Ayah 69, and that's where we left off. Alhamdulillah, the circumstances are very different from what they were last week. We hear of a ceasefire in Gaza. I hope it lasts. It's as unbelievable as it can possibly be. But Alhamdulillah, we know that there's a power associated with dua and our tears and our suffering and our helplessness, and we have seen that materializing today. Inshallah, we are going to be uh, praying to Allah uh, to just make it a source of relief for them, inshallah. And that's it. Inshallah, we'll get started. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ نَبَأَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ. And recite to them the news of Ibrahim. This whole section is reminding us of various prophets, their nations, how their nations rejected the message, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent subsequent adhab or punishment on them. So, if you want to see a concise summary of all the nations, most of them, if not all, then this is a good section of Quran. وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ نَبَأَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ, and recite to them the news of Ibrahim. إِذْ قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ وَقَوْمِهِ مَا تَعْبُدُونَ. When he asked his father and his people, what do you worship? So this was a rhetorical question. He knew what uh, those people used to worship, and definitely they used to worship the idols. And it is said that the rational and logical reasoning was initiated by Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? قالوا, they responded, نعبد أصناما. We worship the idols. فنظل لها عاكفين. And we are going to remain to them devoted. We are just going to stick to our worship. قال, Ibrahim alayhi salam asked, هل يسمعونكم إذ تدعون? Do they hear you when you supplicate, when you make dua? Do they hear? Do they respond? أو ينفعونكم أو يضرون? Or do they benefit you or do they harm you? You know, when you think about God, it is expected of him, or some characteristics are associated or should be associated with him, right? That when human beings just supplicate, they should respond. Not they, the God should respond. When human being asks for any khair, they should be able to bless the people with those khair, so on and so forth. So all those logical questions Ibrahim alayhi salam is bringing into the conversation to stir their thought process, that what is that you're sticking to? They don't respond to you, they don't hear you, they don't give you any nafa, they don't give you any good or bad, right? No benefit, no harm. Qalu, like look at the response that is coming from them. It is completely devoid of logic. قالوا بل وجدنا آباءنا كذلك يفعلون. We found our fathers, they used to do the same, and that is the reason we are just doing the same. قال, Ibrahim alayhi salam said, أفرأيتم ما كنتم تعبدون? Do you guys even see what you guys are worshipping? Do you even look at them? أنتم وآباؤكم الأقدمون, and you and your ancient forefathers. Like, at least have a look at them. فإنهم عدو لي إلا رب العالمين. Indeed, they are enemies to me except the Lord of the world. So he clarifies that these statues that you're sticking to are useless. And hence they are enemies to me because they open the door to shirk. Alladhi, and then he goes on to say that I only believe in Rabbul Alameen, and then he gives the introduction of Rabbul Alameen. Alladhi khalaqani, the one who created me. فَهُوَ يَهْدِينِ, and it is he who guides me, right? So he's not an uninvolved God. He's not a God who's so transcendental that he does not know what you go through, or he doesn't care what you go through. No, he's not. He's a very involved God. He created you, and then he guides you as well. Walladhi, and the one who yut'imuni wa yasqin, he feeds me and he gives me drinks. Again, very involved God. And one of my favorite ayat in the Quran, وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ, and when I am ill, it is he who cures me. This ayah and the ayat, of course, that are associated, that are before and after that, they are enough to form and shape our belief system, right? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has created us, He doesn't leave us alone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us our risk. So wherever the risk is coming from, it is one thing it is going to come. And the second thing is that it is going to be with us, or it is going to be given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ. And when I'm sick, again, it is he who cures me. Now we need to understand that our belief systems are shaped by various aspects. The strongest of those aspects is Quran, right? So Ibrahim alayhi salam, you might have seen that a lot of hospitals, these ayat, this ayat is specially written. You would find them in the walls and the doors and whatnot. Why not? I mean, subhanallah, it's a good thing, but this ayah should not just be limited to a piece of writing. It should be an entire belief system. That, if I'm suffering with mental health disorder, if I'm suffering with any physical disorder, if I'm suffering from cancer, God forbid, if I'm suffering from what else, AIDS, HIV, whatnot, everything is curable by the will of Allah. Why? Because He is the one who, gives me shifa when I'm sick. And whatever it is that is associated, not only, this physical ailments or mental health ailments, but also the disease of arrogance, ego, hatred, malice, enmity towards our brothers and sisters, all of that can be cured by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Walladhi, and the one who yumituni thumma yuhyin, cause me to die and then bring me to life. So this life is not the only life. This is the subtle message is that there is a life that is coming ahead as well. Walladhi atma'u an yaghfira li khatiyati yawm ad-din, and who I aspire that He will forgive me my sin on the day of recompense, right? So I have this aspiration, I have this tama, I have this hope that He's going to forgive all my sins on the day of judgment. And this is the relationship that we should have with Allah, right? All positive statements. All positive statements. He doesn't say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes me sick. He says He gives me shifa when I'm sick, right? He doesn't say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes my risk and He gives me limited risk. He says He gives me risk. He makes me eat. He makes me drink. And then after listing all these things, he makes a dua. One of my favorite. Rabbi habli hukma walhiqni bis-salihin. That my Lord grant me authority and join me with the righteous, right? So hukman is like sound judgment, your wisdom, your ability to understand the truth, your ability to be able to not only understand the truth but also act on that truth with justice, with knowledge, right? Having knowledge is one thing. To have the ability or to have the tawfiq to be able to act upon that knowledge is completely different. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you and me that hikmah to be able to act upon what we think is right, right? Or also, when we talk about hukman, it includes, spiritual insight to be able to see beyond the apparent meaning of things or beyond the appearance of things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, yeah, Allama Iqbal says to that effect, दिले बीना भी कर खुदा से तलब. I have repeated it like multiple times. दिले बीना भी कर खुदा से तलब. आँख का नूर दिल का नूर नहीं. That the eyes, whatever the eye sees, are very limited. So you ask Allah for an enlightened heart, for that spiritual insight inside of you, the wisdom, the clarity of heart, the qalb salim. Inshallah, we're going to be studying the qalb salim in a while as well. Well, alhiqni bis salihin. And ya Allah, I want to be reunited with the righteous people. These people around me, what kind of people they are. So I really, really want you to, make me a part of these in this life and the hereafter. I want the company of righteous people. And we know that righteous people are the prophets and the martyrs and the truthful ones. وَاجْعَلْ لِي لِسَانَ صِدْقٍ فِي الْآخِرِينَ آخِرِينَ. And grant me a mention, yani a reputation of honor among the later generations. Yani لسان صدق, yani a truthful tongue, a good mention. So Ibrahim alayhi salam is asking Allah that uh, a, 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 a legacy that is needed, right? A sadqa jariyah that is needed, good and honorable legacy, that his name and message be remembered with truth and respect once he's gone. Fil akhirin, among the later generation. Meaning the people who come after him remember him for his righteousness, for his sincerity, for his truth, and continue his message. And so we see that, subhanAllah, perhaps it is the barakah of this dua that all the major religions of the world, or the, um, what do you call it? The, subhanAllah, the name slipped my mind, but Judaism, Christianity, Muslims, all see Ibrahim alayhi salam as a sacred figure, right? And all claim that Ibrahim alayhi salam is theirs. So again, that's perhaps the legacy of the barakah of the Zuwa. وَجْعَلْنِي مِنْ وَرَثَةِ جَنَّةِ النَّعِيمِ, and place me among the inheritors of the garden of pleasures. وَاغْفِرْ لِي أَبِي, and forgive my father, right? So his father was yani, at the top when it comes to people getting engaged in shirk. إِنَّهُ كَانَ مِنَ الضَّالِّينَ, indeed he has been of those who astray. So he did make dua, but this dua was not answered. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited and stopped him from making further dua for his father, which essentially reminds us that no matter how much we love other people, there's a limit to what we can do for them. And as easily as I'm saying this, it is really, really hard to act upon it, or you know, to have our hearts strong enough to believe in the fact that some of the people that we love to bits might not get hidayah from Allah, because at the end of the day, it is Allah who gives the hidayah. وَلَا تُخْزِنِي يَوْمَ يُبْعَثُونَ, and do not disgrace me on the day when they all will be resurrected. So especially with respect to the father, because the father was a mushrik. So many times what happens is people, those who are doing da'wah, people start embarrassing them because of their relatives. Oh, look at this person, she does dawah, and look at her own sisters and daughters, and look at this person, he does dawah, and look at his son doesn't come to masjid, yada yada yada. Nuh alayhi salam's son and Ibrahim alayhi salam's father, they serve as a reminder that hidayah comes from Allah alone. No matter, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all our children and our parents righteousness, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide them to hidayah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide them to truth, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep them on the straight path. But Ya salam, we have to take comfort in the fact that hidayah, istiqamah, stability all come from Allah alone. All come from Allah alone. يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ, the day there will not benefit anyone wealth or children. إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ, but only one who comes to Allah with the sound heart. Yani, on the day of judgment, nothing will benefit a person. Wealth, children, status, that is what we rely on when it comes to this world. It's like, oh, I'm so wealthy, oh, I have children, oh, I have status. No, on the day of judgment, just the qalb salim. So, what is qalb salim? First up, the qalb salim is a heart that is free from shirk. It doesn't associate any partners with Allah. Then it is free from all the disease of the hearts: hypocrisy, envy, arrogance, malice, ill intentions, right? A heart that fully, completely submits to Allah's will, whether you understand that will or not. A heart that is completely free from shubhat, which is doubts. Is there a creator? Is this really a creator behind this world? Now, how has the atom come into being? Or how is that one cell that caused the whole world? Or is theory of evolution the truth? Right? And then you have shahwat, desires. Why can't I have this right here, right now? Through halal's mean, haram mean, I don't care. So all these things, right? You look at someone, the other person, they're blessed, you make dua for them. That's qalb salim. You're 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 having hypocrisy, envy, arrogance, malice, and it's building inside of you. That's where the skia is needed. That's where the heart should be cleansed. And how does that happen? Through tawbah, through istighfar, through asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to liberate your hearts from the worries of this world, and liberate your heart from the desires of this world, from the status, from the material desires, all of that, right? And remember, the real success in the hereafter is not through material means, never. It is just through the spiritual purity, it's just through the spiritual need. And we know that, some people have little in this dunya, But if the heart is sincere, the heart is pure, they will be among the successful ones, right? And this essentially reminds us that we need to work on purifying our hearts. As I said, that it has to be forgiveness, a lot of forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Humility. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His love. And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for qalb salim. وَأُزْلِفَتِ الْجَنَّةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And the paradise will be brought near to the righteous. Imagine you are being brought to something and something is being brought to you. And there are special guests. What do? We say that, there's this chai right in front of you. Take the chai to them. But then there are like a lot of people. We say, oh, the chai is in that corner. Go grab it. So the muttaqeen, they will be given that status when the chai will be coming to them. وَبُرِّزَتِ الْجَحِيمُ لِلْغَاوِينَ. And the hellfire will be brought forth for the deviators. وَقِيلَ لَهُمْ أَيْنَ مَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْبُدُونَ. And it will be said to them, where are those that you used to worship? مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ, apart from Allah or other than Allah. هَلْ يَنْصُرُونَكُمْ أَوْ يَنْتَصِرُونَ. Can they help you or help themselves? فَكُبْكِبُوا فيها هم والغاوون. So they will be overturned into it. Yani they will be overturned in the hellfire. Them and the deviators. Yani they themselves and all the followers and all the deviators that used to follow them. But you know the Iblis ajmaun, and the soldiers of Iblis all together. قالوا, they will say, وهم فيها يختصمون. They will start to fight there in Tallahi. By Allah, we swear by Allah, in kunna lafi dhalalin mubin. We were indeed in manifest error. But what's the point? What's the point? إِذْ نُسَوِّيكُمْ بِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. When we equated you with the Lord of the world. وَمَا أَضَلَّنَا إِلَّا الْمُجْرِمُونَ. And no one misguided us except the criminals. فَمَا لَنَا مِنْ شَافِعِينَ. So now we have no intercessors. وَلَا صَدِيقٍ حَمِيمٍ. And not a devoted friend. So in this world, when you are in trouble, you of course you need a what? Intercessor. Right? Somebody comes, do the intercession on our behalf, and khalas, we escape from whatever trouble that we are in. Or you need a devoted friend, right? But all these things you will be devoid of. You will not get on the day of um resurrection. May Allah protect us. And what will be their hasra? What will be their desire? What will be their wish, which will not be granted? فَلَوْ أَنَّ لَنَا كَرَّةً. If we only had a return, just one return to this world, فَنَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. We could be of the believers. If only Allah you return us to this world once more, we are going to be listening to what you say. And elsewhere, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, no, they are liars. Even if they are returned to the world, they are going to be doing the same that they used to do. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً. Indeed, and that is a sign. وَمَا كَانَ أَكْثَرُهُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. But most of them, they are not believers. وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. And indeed, your Lord, He is exalted in might and the merciful. كذبت قوم نوح المرسلين. And the people of Nuh denied the messengers. إذ قال لهم أخوهم نوح ألا تتقون. When their brother Nuh said to them, will you not fear Allah? إني لكم رسول أمين. Indeed, I am to you a trustworthy messenger. فاتقوا الله وأطيعون. So fear Allah and obey me. وما أسألكم عليه من أجر. And I do not ask you for it any payment. And this is one of the criteria of the truthfulness of the da'i. I'm not asking you for a Lamborghini. I'm not asking you for a Tesla. In ajriya illa ala rabbil alameen. My payment is only with the Lord of the world. I am only asking you to believe in what I am offering, to believe in what I have brought from Allah. فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُونِ. So fear Allah and obey me. قالوا, they said or they responded, أَنُؤْمِنُ لَكَ. Should we believe in you? وَاتَّبَعَكَ الْأَرْذَلُونَ. While you are followed by the lowest of the people. So whenever any truth is brought to the society, there is a lot at stake for the elite class, and there is nothing at stake for the lower class of the society. Just give me a moment, please. Um, so yeah, the lowest class of people have nothing to lose. So they are usually the first ones to believe. And so all the messengers are surrounded by these people, right? What kind of people? Financially challenged, lower status, poor people. قال Nuh alayhi salam responded, وَمَا عِلْمِي بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. And what is my knowledge of what they used to do? In حِسَابُهُمْ إِلَّا عَلَى رَبِّي. Their account is only upon my Lord. لَوْ تَشْعُرُونَ. If you could perceive. وَمَا أَنَا بِطَارِدِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And I am not going to be driving away these believers. Right? So the arrogant chiefs, they were demanding Nuh alayhi salam that they expel these humble and poor believers, because they used to claim that these are, beneath us, they're the lower strata of the society, and so on and so forth. Nuh alayhi salam firmly replied, sorry, this is not happening. Right? Faith is the true standard of worth, not the wealth, not your, these fancy cars, not your mansions, not your villas. And all believers are equal before Allah. All believers are completely equal before Allah, and no one has the right to look down on others due to worldly status. The only criteria that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given, because of which one person is above the other, it is taqwa. It was taqwa. In ana illa nadhirum mubin. I am only a clear warner. قالوا لئن لم تنتهي يا نوح. They said, if you do not stop, Ya Nuh, if you do not desist, Ya Nuh, لَتَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْمُجْرِمِينَ. Surely you will be marjumin. My apologies. مِنَ الْمَرْجُمِينَ. Surely you will be of those who are stoned, and you are going to stone you to death. Behave yourself, or this is what you have to suffer. The consequences that you have to suffer. قال نوح عليه السلام said, ربي إن قومي كذبون. My Lord, indeed my people have denied me. 950 years of constant calling towards Allah, and the numbers and the followers. Imagine, 950 years working on your social media handle, Instagram. And after 950 years, what you get is like 80 followers. You go to a random page, 80 followers. Like, who are these people? 80 followers only. Ah, that's not famous. Ah, that's not worthy. And that's like, okay, that's what the numbers that Nuh alayhi salam got as well, which essentially shows, my people, in the sight of Allah, the numbers do not matter. In the sight of Allah, what matters is the amount of effort that you're putting in, right? إن سعيكم لشتى ليس للإنسان إلا ما سعى. So for you is your effort, the results, the numbers is Allah's will, right? But Nuh alayhi salam, by this time he was done. 950 years. He's like, and elsewhere in the Quran we read that he says, Ya Allah, I call your people daytime, nighttime, privately, in public. They don't respond. فَافْتَى بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَهُمْ فَتْحًا. Then judge between me and them with a decisive judgment. وَنَجِّنِي وَمَن مَّعِيَ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And save me and those with me of the believers. So again, this is the moment that Nuh alayhi salam left the matters to Allah completely, trusting the fact that he has done his best, and now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to bring justice, and he is going to rescue the righteous people. And this also, my people, this shows us the power of sincere dua in the times of oppression and steadfastness. So when it comes to Gaza, we had essentially nothing but to make dua. And of course, boycott and all those little efforts that we could put in, why not? But the weapon that people like us, you and I, we just had duas. And that's what hopefully Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has answered. فَأَنْجَيْنَاهُ وَمَن مَّعَهُ فِي الْفُلْكِ الْمَشْحُونِ. So we saved him and those with him in the laden ship. And we know that, whatever happened. ثُمَّ أَغْرَقْنَا بعد الباقي. Then we drowned thereafter the remaining ones. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً. Indeed, in this is a sign. وَمَا كَانَ أَكْثَرُهُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. But most of them are not believers. وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. And indeed, your Lord, He is exalted in might, the merciful. Next nation, كذبت عاد المرسلين. Ad denied the messengers. So Ad was an ancient Arab tribe. They were living in the region of Al-Ahqaf. Al-Ahqaf is a desert between Yemen and Oman. And they were known for their power. They had tall statures. They had, magnificent buildings. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Prophet Hud to guide them to Tawheed and, of course, righteousness. But they became arrogant. They rejected Hud. They started, mocking his warnings. They oppressed others. They spread corruption on earth. And as a result of which, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed them with cold wind, powerful cold wind that raged for 7 nights and 8 days. And it just left them lifeless like hollow trunks. That's what we read in the Quran. Right? So again, my people, power and wealth do not save a nation. We may think that today they have all the weapons, all the machinery, all the AI, all the whatnot. But the moment somebody becomes arrogant, the nations become arrogant and reject divine guidance. This power and wealth and AI, nothing can save them from the wrath of Allah. إِذْ قَالَ لَهُمْ أَخُوهُمْ هُودٌ أَلَا تَتَّقُونَ. When their brother Hud said to them, will you not fear Allah? إِنِّي لَكُمْ رَسُولٌ أَمِينٌ. Indeed, I am to you a trustworthy messenger. فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُونِ. So fear Allah and obey me. وَمَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ. And I do not ask you for any payment. And see, all the messengers, they have constantly reminded the people of this, that I'm not asking you for any ajr, right? My ajr is coming from Allah. In ajriya illa ala rabbil alameen. My payment is only from the lords of the world. And then he asked his people, what? Atabnuna bi kulli ri'in ayatan ta'bathun. Do you construct on every elevation a sign, amusing yourself? So again, the people of Ad, they were very proud of their strength. They used to build huge structures as as a symbol of power, right? And vanity. There was no beneficial reason to do that. They would just, what do you call it? High-rise buildings. Go to the Middle East and then you'll understand. And this verse is a rebuke of their arrogance, the rebuke of their wastefulness, and the love of showing off. What good is, your tall towers are for? What's that coming to my head? Anyway, we'll spare the Middle East. Anyway, we see that in this day and age, the tallest of the towers are unfortunately in the Muslim countries. And this reminds us, oh, just give me a moment. All right, which reminds us of that, again, pride, what do you call it? Pride had a fall? Pride leads to downfall. If this, if this, all your gifts, if they are not accompanied by faith and humbleness, then pride leads to destruction. And what else they used to do? وَتَتَّخِذُونَ مَصَانِعَ. And take for yourselves constructions. Again, you're building palaces and fortresses. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَخْلُدُونَ. As if you're going to be living here forever, eternally. Okay, massive constructions. Very, how should I say that? It should be like a very intricate constructions. For what benefit? Useless. As if they're invincible, as if they're going to be living forever. وَإِذَا بَطَشْتُمْ بَطَشْتُمْ جَبَّارِينَ. And when you strike its tyrants. Again, subhanallah, you will see so many of these manifesting or um, again materializing right before your eyes. Batashtum means to attack, to seize, or to act with force. Jabbareen are the oppressors, they are the tyrants who act very harshly, who act very arrogantly. So the people of Ad, they were known for their physical power. But they used to use that power very unjustly. They used to oppress, they used to humiliate others, right? And then that's where he reminded, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُونِ. So fear Allah and obey me. وَاتَّقُوا الَّذِي. And fear the one who أَمَدَّكُم بِمَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Who provided you with that which you know. So Prophet Ayat is reminding the people to recognize and be grateful to Allah for the favors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given. And they already recognized the favor. They knew that they had strength. They knew that they had fertile lands. They knew that they had power. They knew that they had wealth. Right? It was not falling from the sky. It was given to them by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What else? Amaddakum بأنعام وبنين, provided you with grazing livestock and children, وجنات وعيون, and the gardens and the springs. إني أخاف عليكم عذاب يوم عظيم, and indeed I fear you for the punishment of a terrible day. قالوا, after all of this they responded, سواء علينا, it is all same to us. أوعظت, whether you advise us, أم لم تكن من الواعظين, or you are not of the advisors, yani your advice is falling on deaf ears. In هذا إلا خلق الأولين, this is not but the custom of the former people. وما نحن بمعذبين, and we are not going to be punished. What are you talking about? فكذبوه, so they denied him, yani so the people of Ad denied their messenger. فأهلكناهم, so we destroyed them. إن في ذلك لآية, indeed in that is a sign. وما كان أكثرهم بمؤمنين, sorry, وما كان أكثرهم مؤمنين, but most of them were not to believe. إن ربك لهو العزيز الرحيم, and indeed your Lord, he is exalted in might and merciful. كذبت ثمود المرسلين, Thamud denied the messengers. Now who were Thamud? Thamud, again, they were ancient Arabs as well, but they lived after the people of Ad, right? And they were in the region of Al-Hijr, it's somewhat northwest Arabia. And they were used for carving magnificent homes into the mountains, right? So Ad were known for their tall buildings. They were doing something inside the mountains and again enjoyed a very comfortable, prosperous life. And Allah sent to them which prophet? Salih alayhi salam, to call them to Tawheed. And the miracle that he was sent with was a she camel. And it was recommended that allow it to graze freely, do not harm it. But of course, they denied. They killed the she camel. We're going to be studying it in a while. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala them destroyed them through a mighty blast, right? A powerful earthquake like sound that ended their lives instantly. إذ قال لهم أخوهم صالح, then when their brother Saleh said to them, ألا تتقون, will you not fear Allah? إني لكم رسول أمين, indeed I am to you a trustworthy messenger. فاتقوا الله وأطيعون, so fear Allah and obey me. وما أسألكم عليه من أجر, and I do not ask you for any payment. إن أجري إلا على رب العالمين, my payment is only from the Lord of the worlds. أتتركون فيما هاهنا آمنين, will you be left in what is here secure from death? Yani, Salih alayhi salam is saying to the people of Thamud that what is this false sense of security in the blessings and the comfort that you have? You know, overly comfortable life that makes you forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He keeps testing us often, over and over again, so that we return back to Allah. Overly comfortable life is one of the easiest way, or this false sense of security is one of the easiest way to reject Allah or to deny the hereafter. So again, the people of Thamud, they used to live in fertile lands. It was surrounded by gardens and springs, and they used to feel that, again, we are untouchable, we are invincible. And Salih alayhi salam reminded them that, this world is not permanent, or the world's ease and comfort. It's not without accountability. So this delusion of comfort and power, it may lead you to forget Allah. It may lead you to forget the hereafter. The real security lies in obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What else they had? في جنات وعيون, within gardens and springs. وزروع ونحل طلعها خضيم, and their fields of crops and palm trees with saffron fruits. So these are the things that they were blessed with. وَتَنْحِتُونَ مِنَ الْجِبَالِ بُيُوتًا فَارِهِينَ, and you carve out of the mountains homes with skill. So tanhituna means carving or cutting into something solid. So min al-jibali buyutan, so it refers to the stone houses. The people of Thamud, they built by carving into mountains. Farihin is like very skillfully, very boastfully, with arrogance, right? So they had highly advanced architecture, if you will, for the lack of a better word. So we think that we are the highly advanced and the most advanced in terms of civilization, in terms of architecture, in terms of technology. Who knows? Who knows? Perhaps someone was better than us. فاتقوا الله وأطيعون, so fear Allah and obey me. ولا تطيعوا أمر المسرفين, and do not obey the order of the transgressors. الذين يفسدون في الأرض ولا يصلحون, those who cause corruption in the land and they do not amend. قالوا, They said, إنما أنت من المسحرين. You are of those who are affected by magic. ما أنت إلا بشر مثلنا. You are just a man like us. فأتي بآية إن كنت من الصادقين. So bring a sign if you should be truthful, right? Bring a sign, bring a miracle. قال هذه ناقة لها. هذه ناقة لها شرب ولكم شرب يوم معلوم. So they asked for a miracle. Miracle came. It was a she camel. And he said that for her is a time of drink, and for you is a time of drink, each on a known day. So this was a huge she camel. It was pregnant. And one day, the entire water of the well was dedicated for this she camel. And another day, the whole town and their cattle will drink water. And some people did not like it. So there were a few ladies who hired the killers, and the killers eventually killed that she camel, after which the adhab of Allah came. But before that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them the warning. وَلَا تَمُسُّوهَا بِسُوءٍ فَيَأْخُذَكُمْ عَذَابُ يَوْمٍ عَظِيمٍ. So do not touch her with harm, lest you should be seized by the punishment of a terrible day. فَأَقَرُوهَا. But they hamstrung, yani they killed, yani the people of Thamud killed the she camel. فَأَصْبَحُوا نَادِمِينَ. So they became regretful, right? So Akaruha is just to kill in a specific way without getting into too much detail. But after committing sin, they regretted it. They were like, "Oh my God, what did we do?" But the regret, it was too late to for the regret, right? Because فَأَخَذَهُمُ الْعَذَابُ, and the punishment seized them. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً. Indeed, in that is a sign. وَمَا كَانَ أَكْثَرُهُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. But most of them are not believers. وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. And indeed, your Lord is exalted in might, the merciful. كذبت قوم لوط المرسلين. The people of Lut denied the messengers. Again, people of Lut, they used to live in the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And it is a region in the region of Dead Sea. Lut alayhi salam was sent to them especially to guide them back to morality and tawheed. Their immorality was homosexuality, right? That's one thing, but they were also highway robbers. So they caused a lot of corruption through through this highway robbery and stuff like that, right? But of course, Lut alayhi salam invited them to Tawheed. They rejected, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent angels who turned their city upside down and rained down those stones of baked clay, destroying them completely, right? إذ قال لهم أخوهم لوط. When their brother Lut said to them, ألا تتقون, will you not fear Allah? إني لكم رسول أمين. Indeed, I am to you a trustworthy messenger. فاتقوا الله وأطيعون. So fear Allah and obey me. وما أسألكم عليه من أجر إن أجري إلا على رب العالمين. And I do not ask you for any payment. My payment is only with the Lord of the worlds. أتأتون الذكران أتأتون الذكران من العالمين. Do you approach the males among the worlds? So again, homosexual males used to approach the males. Homosexuality, my people, if it is being put into the broad context of the Dajjal, it makes a lot of sense, because one of the aims of the disciples of the Dajjal, for the lack of an appropriate word, or the system that the Dajjal is trying to create, is that you control the number of people, right? You bring down the population of this world. Because if there are lesser number of people, the control will be easier. Imagine if there's a household and 10 families are living in that household, how easy would be the control? The control will be difficult, right? Similarly, if there are going to be 8 billion people when Dajjal arrives, it's going to be a difficult job for Dajjal. So before the Dajjal could arrive, his disciples are working strongly towards controlling the population. Homosexuality is one of that tools through which the population can be controlled. Just imagine if you and I and everyone on earth turns into homosexual people today, 60 years later, there'll be no one on earth. The population will khalas finish, right? Homosexual couple cannot give birth to a child, right? And that's what your aim is, to control, birth control is your aim, population control is your aim, khalas. you're done, right? So that they'll promote anything that can lead to controlling the population number of people that is there. وَتَذَرُونَ مَا خَلَقَ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُم مِّنْ أَزْوَاجِكُم, and leave what your Lord has created you as mates, right? You don't want to have normal sexual relationship with your spouses. What are you doing? بَلْ أَنْتُمْ قَوْمٌ عَادُونَ, but you are the people transgressing. قالوا, they said, لَإِن لَمْ تَنْتَهِ يَا لُوط, if you do not desist, Ya Lut. If you exactly same things, Nuh alayhi salam. If you do not desist, ya Nuh. Same thread to Lut alayhi salam. لَتَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْمُخْرَجِينَ, you will surely be those who are evicted. We will throw you out of our land. قَالَ إِنِّي لِعَمَلِكُم مِنَ الْقَالِينَ, he said, I am towards your deed of those who desert. Yani, I detest you. I hate what you're doing. Right? Your immoral and unnatural acts, I abhor it. I reject it completely. ربي نجني وأهلي مما يعملون. My Lord, save me and my family from the consequences of what they do. فنجيناه, so we saved him, وأهله, and all his family, أجمعين, all of them. إلا, except عجوزا في الغابرين, except an old woman among those who remained behind. Who was this old woman? Wife of Lut alayhi salam, which essentially tells us that relationship cannot save you from the adhab of Allah. ثم دمرنا الآخرين, then we destroyed the others. وأمطرنا عليهم مطرا, and we rained upon them a rain of stones. فساء مطر المنذرين, and evil was the rain of those who were warned. إن في ذلك لآية, indeed in this is a sign. وما كان أكثرهم مؤمنين, but most of them were not the believers. وإن ربك لهو العزيز الرحيم, and indeed your Lord, he is exalted in might, the merciful. كذب أصحاب الأيكة المرسلين, the companions of a thicket, the companions of the forest, the people of Madian, they denied the messengers. So Ashabul Aika means a thick, lush forest, right? And the people lived in a region which was very rich in greenery and gardens. And again, Madian is somewhere in the northwest Arabia. So Prophet Shuaib was sent to them to guide them towards Tawheed and justice. One of the problem with them was that they used to cheat in trade and measurement, economic corruption, dishonesty. But of course they denied, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed them through a scorching heat and a mighty blast that khalas finished everyone. إِذْ قَالَ لَهُمْ شُعَيْبٌ, when Shuaib said to them, أَلَا تَتَّقُونَ, will you not fear Allah? And he same message by all the messengers, right? Fear Allah. إِنِّي لَكُمْ رَسُولٌ أَمِينٌ, indeed I am to you a trustworthy messenger. فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُونِ, so fear Allah and obey me. وَمَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ, and I do not ask you for any payment. In أَجْرِيَ إِلَّا عَلَى رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ, my payment is only from the Lord of the worlds. أَوْفُوا الْكَيْلَ وَلَا تَكُونُوا مِنَ الْمُخْسِرِينَ, give full measure and do not be of those who cause loss. وَزِنُوا بِالْقِسْطَاسِ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ, and weigh with an even, honest balance. So this was their problem. They wouldn't weigh with honesty. وَلَا تَبْخَسُوا النَّاسَ أَشْيَاءَهُمْ, and do not deprive people of their due. وَلَا تَعْثَوْا فِي الْأَرْضِ مُفْسِدِينَ, and do not commit abuse on the earth, spreading corruption. وَاتَّقُوا الَّذِي خَلَقَكُمْ وَالْجِبِلَّةَ الْأَوَّلِينَ, and fear he who created you and the former creation. قَالُوا إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مِنَ الْمُسَحَّرِينَ, they said, Shoaib, you are only of those affected by magic, right? This is sahar. وَمَا أَنْتَ إِلَّا بَشَرًا مِثْلُنَا, you are just like a man, like ourselves. وَإِنَّ ظُنُّكَ لَمِنَ الْكَاذِبِينَ, and indeed we think you are among the liars. فَأَسْقِطْ عَلَيْنَا كِسَفًا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ, so cause to fall upon us fragments of the sky. In kuntum mina sadiqin, if you should be truthful. قال ربي أعلم بما تعملون, he said, my Lord is most knowing of what you do. فكذبوه فأخذهم, so they denied him, yani the people of Aika, Madian, denied Shuaib alayhi salam. فأخذهم عذاب يوم الظلة, so the punishment of the day of the black cloud seized them. إنه كان عذاب يوم عظيم, indeed it was the punishment of a terrible day. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what happened was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a severe heat wave, so intense that they could not find any relief. And then, just give me a moment, please. Right? So then what happened? A thick cloud, dhulla, appeared and started to give shade. And they rushed towards that, hoping that, it has brought water and rain and comfort, whatnot. But actually, a mighty blast and scorching punishment descended upon them, and then, khalas, they were all destroyed. So that is known as Adaba Yawmudhillah. Yawm al-Dhullah. Right? The punishment of the day of canopy. Inna fi dhalika la ayah. Indeed, in that is a sign. وَمَا كَانَ أَكْثَرُهُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. But most of them were not to believe, or they were not believers. وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. And indeed, your Lord, He is exalted in might, the merciful. Uh, all right. I will do. I'll end here because my battery is dying, and I am outside. I cannot plug my charger in. So yeah, inshallah, we'll complete the rest of it next week, and yeah, I'll just stop the recording and then we can discuss, inshallah.